Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Hey y'all, how y'all doing? This is Lyne't. Great show. Coming to you today on Great Show. Coming to you July 28th, 2020. This is the last Tuesday before our August 4th election. So elections. We have a lot to discuss today. We have a lot to discuss today, and so we have a whole lot to discuss today. The first thing we have a whole lot to discuss. I'm about to defend the first thing we want to discuss. I'm about to defend a whole lot. It's saying that it's not going into the internet. I'm logging as a guest. The internet. I keep logged in as a guest. I keep DLC yes. DLC yes. Oh, next year, yes. No, okay. That's what I get for not looking about like some of y'all. That's what I get about like some of y'all. We have, I have a bunch of people who are like, I shared a video who are like, a black video, a doctor who was telling everyone about the medicine, showing everyone to treat coronavirus, about the medicine. Now, a lot of people are like, a lot of her is listen to her as any other. This is the one you have to remember, no matter what. Remember, crazy people sound crazy, but research what they say. Don't just dismiss somebody and call them crazy. Don't dismiss somebody. The worst thing that you could ever do. The worst thing you could ever do. Pass for the guest. Dave Chappelle said the worst thing you could ever do. Dave Chappelle said the worst thing you could ever do. To a man and call him crazy. To someone. And the reason why I shared the video. If you go back and look on my time, everybody go back and look on my time. Everybody knows I'm a whole lot sane. But I'm not out yelling about, I'm not out yelling about, conspiracy theories. I got all this hair, and I didn't want to pull it all. I got all this hair, and just didn't want to pull it all up. But anyway, I should have. But anyway, I should have. But despite some of the things that people don't agree with, the things that I heard no one say, I went to the website. I improved her website. Everyone was just saying. Everyone was just saying. This is what she said. Now about the aliens, DNA. Now about the aliens. I'm telling y'all how crazy. Y'all know that they said y'all know that they DNA in space. DNA. They left it up there for a while. And they retreated. They left it up there for a while. So how often do we hear about cloning? Very we hear about cloning. So that's just how easy and how quick scientifically you can say, you can say, her stuff might come out, she might not be accurate. Her stuff might come out, but she might not be accurate. But she ain't too crazy. So anyway, we're gonna get on that because the one thing I don't like is when our people dismiss something or our people dismiss something without facts. Now, yes, you have facts of some of the crazy things that she said. They said it's an echo, Mr. Walker. You have some of the crazy, quote unquote, things that she said. You have proof of that. Basically, did we get it corrected yet? Okay. They said we have proof of that. It's good now. We have proof of that via internet. But where is your proof? The woman cited, I won't call her a doctor because I don't know if she's a doctor, but she cited the NIH in her speech. Everyone who dismissed her, how many people went to the NIH and did their research? What she cited with the NIH in her research, I've already cited long ago. A lot of people will say, you can look on my page and see. I've already cited the everything that she was talking about long ago. So that's the first thing. She cited the NIH in her research and what she's doing. A lot of people said, oh, well, that drug is, I'm not going to mention the drug. I'm not going to mention her. because Facebook seems to be shutting down anything that has any actual mention of her, the video, any of that. So you're not going to hear me mention that stuff. You're just going to hear me talk in circles, but you all know what I'm talking about. They said, well, that drug is known to, one lady was saying that the drug is known to cause internal organs to fail, give people heart attacks, do things like that. Actually, if you research the drug, it's not when it comes to the health benefits. There's plenty of information on the drug. That's why a certain person who refuses to wear a mask, who makes speeches that don't make sense, takes the drug. What was causing people to I'm trying to talk without getting the show shut down. What was causing people to get sick internally was putting people on certain machines in the hospital. And the machines in the hospital, I'm going to explain this to you all because I did the research on every health organization. I'm a researcher. I can find the needle in a haystack, literally. And that's just me. That's just what I do because I like to be able to, if I'm going to give information, if you're going to try to argue with me, I'm going to make you look stupid because I'm going to tell you, go to this, pull this, and then you're going to be sitting there looking at your phone like you're crazy. So what causes all of those internal organ failures, and I'm going to give everyone a bit of information, that is caused by excessive pressure in the lungs. When you put excessive, and this is stuff you can research, I'm not just spewing out the side of my ear, and don't research it on other websites, but the scientific websites and the health websites. And you know, the education and scientific and health and the websites that have to do with the health organizations worldwide. When you put pressure on lungs that need oxygen, you starve the lungs of oxygen. You then create internal organ failure. Anyone who knows anything about medicine, please chime in. You create internal organ failure. When you create that internal organ failure, what you're doing is you're causing the person's immune system to shut down because you're killing off blood platelets. They can never be replaced. That's the thing about it. If someone was to, adding pressure to the lungs is a lot like climbing. It's not even like climbing Mount Everest. It's like somebody taking you in a plane and shooting you up to the top of Mount Everest and dropping you off. It's not even climbing, because climbing, your lungs can get adjusted. It's like catching a plane, as you know, that's as fast as you can go to the top of Mount Everest. The plane hovers over Mount Everest and drop you off. You're not gonna last long because the pressure is starving out the platelets in your system. So, and I'm trying to say this stuff without getting the station and show blocked and all of that stuff. So hopefully everyone is getting what I'm saying. And this stuff is easily verifiable by just simply I told y'all, Mr. Walker get me with the button every time because I'm gonna come with the controversy. I love it. The thoughts and opinions of Lyne't Gray Show are not the thoughts and opinions of KUAW LPFM 985. Okay, so I just repeated it just in case anyone didn't hear what the what the what the disclaimer said. But that is, so it's being proven that that's the reason why you're hearing them say stop adding pressure to the lungs. But they're not saying that. Y'all ain't hearing stop adding pressure to the lungs. Y'all are hearing something else. You got to listen closely. You got to learn what these medical communities are saying. And I'm not a doctor, but I do read. It's easy to read the research and listen. When you hear nurses and doctors who are in the hospital making videos saying stuff, just go read and research what they're saying. It's as easy as that. But I had been doing my reading and researching because the flu had me spooked, because the flu this year was killing everything walking. See, they were just declaring, you know, the issue, the health issue now as upper respiratory infection. That's what they were telling people it was. They were sending them home. The flu was killing people, literally. So I was trying to research what was going on with that and kept coming up with information about this situation. So neither here nor there. When people come in my inbox and say, Lyne't, you're spreading false information, this, that, and the other. When I spread that video, the reason why is because she called out the website that gives you all of the information to research for yourself. And it is a government health website. And it's not the CDC. And it's not the WHO. It's where the big dogs put their information at. Besides, you know, some of the other journals, but this is where the big dogs put their information, and the people who are finding things and their findings, it goes there. And so I have a problem with our people who like to go on the attack. And I'm just going to say this, and that's why he played this disclaimer. Don't go on the attack unless you have proof that what that person said is false. And that's the absolute truth. And I'm going to stand on that. Do not go on the attack unless you have absolute proof that what that person said is false. Because I was told never to listen to marriage information from a single person. And the best marriage information I ever got was from a single person. So, and it was a single person who most people are like, she crazy. But it was the best information I ever got. Woke me up. I was like, oh, really? All the married people was telling me stuff that was giving my head knocked. I'm just saying, come on now, y'all. But so that being said, I just want everyone to look in at health. Be healthy. Research for yourself. My problem with our people is we don't even, well, not we, y'all don't even know how to go through and read the health journals. Y'all don't know how to go through and read the websites, the government websites. Y'all don't know what medicines to look up. Y'all don't know what terms to look up. Like most people, and I'm just going to say this, most people call it coronavirus or COVID-19. I've been telling y'all from day one, the health community calls it SARS too. But everybody keeps calling it coronavirus. But the health community calls it SARS too. Y'all remember SARS, the Chinese disease that was killing everything walking? That's how they identify it. It's been cured in South Korea since 2016. But 2019, it's a big pandemic. Come on now, y'all. South Korea got proof of having it there back in 2016. So that's where we as a people, we have to stop being so mind controlled. Absolutely, Chin. Have facts and listen to facts. You know, it's facts is one thing. Don't just, you know, and I have so many people who came in my inbox and were like really saying, and Chin, I called you, so return my call. And if you want to comment, go over to the KUAW page. But I have so many people coming in my inbox and were so like adamant, Lyne't, you're spreading false information. You can say what she said is false. I can say from reading where she told y'all to go get the information, find the video. Okay. Here's proof that people just listen to what is spread, because now I'm going to segue into voting, and then we're going to take a break at 8:30. People just simply listen to the videos that are spread, and they don't listen to the actual information, the real proven information that comes behind that video. Everybody was upset about Joe Biden saying that black people are not black if they don't vote for him. But immediately following that state, everybody goes off of that one clip. But immediately following that statement, nobody heard this man say that he spearheaded the Voting Rights Act for black people, giving them 30 more years to vote. Everyone was so busy I don't know. I don't know why people didn't pay attention to this law. Because when it was passed, when President Bush was in office and he signed it into law, it gave us 30 more years to vote then. But the thing about it is, everyone was upset. And I mentioned, every time I mentioned that, he said this to people. And I'm like, but he wants to be president. But he felt like we were only worth 30 more years to vote instead of giving us a perpetual right to vote. And everybody said, when did he say that? So y'all didn't watch the whole video? Because up until he said that, I was accusing George Bush and the Republicans of basically dogging black people out and not giving us the right to vote. I literally was, because it came up under the Bush administration and Bush signed it into law. And Biden literally said out of his own mouth that he spearheaded the law, the new voting rights law that gave us, the Voting Rights Act, that gave us 30 more years to vote. Nobody seems to hear that. And so that's what I tell people is we have to start looking at information. We have to start looking at the truth. I'm one of those people that, hold on for a second. Y'all hate dead airspace, but I'm going to tell you exactly what the name of the law is. But like, I'm one of those people, I want to find out the truth. I want to know the whole truth. And I tell a lot of people, it surprised me, and I found out the reason why Joe Biden was chosen as President Obama's vice president. Someone gave me some information that I researched, and it was true, because it surprised me that he was chosen as President Obama's vice president when President Obama came out, and some of his most harshest criticism that he's done as a politician was against the new Voting Rights Act, because he felt like it was wrong. It was wrong. It should have been perpetual, and it was not perpetual. So, and for him, when I was like, so why would Obama choose him as a running mate when he didn't even agree with his vote? And someone said, well, he didn't choose him. You know, he was nominated by the Democratic committee and all that. And I was like, okay, so I researched that and they were right. But what I'm saying is, and I think, let me see, it was passed. I know it was passed, I want to say right before President Obama became president. The Voting Rights Act was passed, and I'm trying to find the actual date. I normally have the date off the top of my head, but so much is going on. Anyway, so I'm just telling y'all, just research the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and research it. Oh, it was in 2006 that the Voting Rights Act passed by a vote of 98-0. The Senate approved a 25-year extension of the Voting Rights Act. 25 years in 2006. 25 years, y'all. So that means we have till 2031, and we're in 2020. Black people have 11 more years to vote. But nobody seemed to have heard Joe Biden say he spearheaded that extension. So that's what I say. We have to be careful about the information that we take in, because as a people, they give us the information. They lay it out there for us, but we don't listen. We are so busy jumping on the bandwagon with our thoughts and with our minds that we miss the important keys. So speaking of Voting Rights Act, when we come back, I'm going to break for 2 minutes. When we come back, we're going to talk about voting in Kansas City. I want you all to tag people who y'all know are running for office. The reason why I have no one running for office sitting here right now is because by law, if you have someone running for office on your show, you have to open up your show to everyone. Not about to do it because some people I don't agree with. But I'll be back in 2 minutes. See y'all in 2 minutes. KUAW, Lyne't Gray Show. And we're back. I love jamming to my intro songs. My son created them. Desmond D. Professor Mason, 2019 Beats the Beats I Standard Beat Battle winner. This is the Lyne't Gray Show on KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, Kansas City's global community radio station. You are listening to the Lyne't Gray Show, most likely on Facebook on KUAW985 at gmail.com. You can also listen to our shows live on besides Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Is it Patreon or Periscope? Periscope. I keep saying Patreon, y'all. Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, and by typing in the letters KUAW on the TuneIn app, you can hear it. You can't watch it. Our email is KUAW985 at gmail.com. Our telephone number, if you have anything to say, if you are welcome to call in if you're running for office. 816-599-6893. The number is scrolling somewhere across the top of my head. So you can, or if you have anything to say, don't say it on the watch party, and come to the KUAW-LPFM 985 Facebook page. I don't care where you're running for office. You can go to that page and type in your information or whatever, or call 816-599-6893. We want your 2 and 3 and 5 and 10 and $200,000 donations. So go to our webpage at KUAW.org. And there you can also watch the live shows if you do not have social media. But at the top of the page is a donate tab, and all you have to do is click donate, and you can get recurring monthly donations of $2 and $3. They come in handy and help us with our ongoing station fundraisers. Like right now, you can see I invite everyone to go back and watch my first show. No, don't watch my first show, because I was so excited. I kept stopping and saying hi to everybody. I couldn't even keep a coherent flow going. But watch the shows after that where everything was dark and far away. Your donations create quality programming and allow us to put on quality programming for you all. So that is our station. I want to shout out Tycon, and man, if we could just get Tycon over to Africa and get some of the way they be doing these curbs and stuff, man, y'all, Africa would love it. The way they do sidewalks and curbs, because Tycon had a contract somewhere where I do a lot of traveling, and I used to do a lot of walking, and they went in, got them sidewalks and curbs put in. They're beautifully done in a neighborhood that normally companies come in and half do it. Beautifully done. Looks like it's our upscale and $1 million companies that neighborhoods, the way they did it. So I want to shout them out because it's amazing and it's beautiful. So now we're going to get back to the voting thing. I'm gonna tell y'all who I'm voting for. I'm voting for Sherry Hall. I'm voting for Thurman Davis. I'm voting for Gloria Roach Ellington. Who else? It's some more people I'm voting for. I don't have George Fuller, my son. It's Jorge when you read it. He's write-ins. Missouri State Senate District 7. Jorge Fuller, Fuller. Missouri State Senate District 7. So don't forget to write George Fuller in. I will say this. I've had a lot of people say, oh, well, I don't vote and this, that, and the other. I mean, I can't tell you what to do with your self and with your spiritual beliefs, but I don't believe in giving someone voice over me without me putting my voice in. I don't believe in giving someone voice over my children without me putting my voice in. You have to know who's running for your school board. You have to know who's running for your it goes all the way down. Committee person, school board. Your local elections are. Here's what I tell people, and Mr. Walker, you might want to hit the button again because we just came back. Because I'm going to say something, and it's going to make some folk mad. I'm already blocked. I don't care, so he shouldn't see this. Well, no, he do be working with KUAW. Hit the button, Mr. Walker, because I'm about to say something. Okay, so we have a black mayor who declared that we have to wear masks in Kansas City, Missouri. The state of Missouri told our school districts that they have to figure out what to do when it comes to the children. We all know children and elderly are ultimately susceptible to coronavirus. The same mayor who called in Operation Legend to the governor could not call the governor and say, "Hey, shut these schools down because I don't want our babies dying." But this is what happens when you don't vote. This is what happens when you leave the last two people left on the platform for mayor who have financial interests. Alicia Kennedy should have been mayor. I say it all day long. Kansas City, Missouri kicked off Operation Legend. And around the world, they don't even know it as something looking for a little boy's murderer. They know it as this person in the Oval, Cheeto Man, is cracking down on protesters. This is what I talk about voting. And that's the reason why I had Mr. Walker play that, because I said something just now that's very controversial and it has nothing to do with our station. But as a parent, you can enact a law and then they catch you at the lake with no mask, with umpteen your family members in a picture. No social distancing, none of y'all wearing masks. It was a spontaneous picture. You have 2 armed bodyguards. They need to be fired. But you don't enact your power in some kind of way to call the governor. You called the governor to bring them boys, 200 of them boys, into our city. But you can't call the governor and say, "Hey, listen, I heard y'all putting it on the school districts, the individual school districts, to figure out what to do with our students." I don't agree with that. You can't make that call. You can't man to man make a call and say, "I don't know what to, I cannot tell you what to do, but I need our babies safe." And this situation right here, you can say everybody needs to wear a mask. What kindergartner do you know is going to keep a mask on all day long? But this is what happens when y'all don't vote. And this is what happens when you don't informed vote. Know who you're voting for. How many people know there's a woman running for president of the United States as a libertarian? How many people know this? How many people know who all is running for office in your city? How many people complain? We see a lot of people complaining about voting, but no one has ever complained that here in Kansas City, when you go to vote, they keep you as a Democrat or a Republican. They give you a whole ticket. And either you have to vote Democrat or vote Republican or vote Libertarian or whatever. And you can't switch over. And I've actually met some Republicans in the past that I was like, yeah. And after I did my research on those people, I was like, yeah, they are really good for this. I wouldn't vote for the person who's there. Like Mike Sharp. If y'all vote that man back in the way they up in there having all these orgies and sexing each other up in that piece, y'all crazy. If y'all vote back in Jean Peters Baker, the way she railroads, and I'm about to put her on blast. Everybody knows that Lyne't went through a whole ordeal, when it came to the courts with some stuff. The Magoon side came out. Anyway, they prosecuted me illegally. I worked on all of their campaigns, and they did everything in their power to try to prosecute me. The only way I got out of it was because my lawyer brought up to Crispin Ray, I'm putting you on blast, in court, that I helped him get elected. This is the kind of dirty stuff they do, y'all. But we keep voting these people back in because we are not informed. We're so busy looking at stuff that's going down on Facebook and sharing memes and this and the other. But who's running in your city? Who's running in your county? Who's running in your state? Who are your elected, the people who are running? And your elected officials, what have they done? What is their track record? Jean Peters Baker has yet to prosecute an officer who has murdered a black man in Kansas City. And we have unarmed black men. We have one of them, what's his name? He was shot in the back. And the officer who he was facing when he got shot in the back, said the boy didn't, Ryan Stokes didn't even have a gun. He said Ryan Stokes didn't have a gun. He went and testified that he was looking directly, standing in front of Ryan Stokes, saw him. He did not have a gun. The officer shot Ryan Stokes in the back, lied and said he had a gun, and then kind of find out his cell phone looked like a gun. And when the officer did not side with KCPD, they kicked him off the force and made his life a living hell, and he's not an officer right now. But see, this is what happens when people don't informed voting. Y'all always hear me go off about voting. Why? Because you can vote, but if you're not voting informed voting, guess what you're doing? You're putting people like Gene Peters Baker and Mike Sharp back in office. I will tell y'all this one thing. There's a certain mayor who should be one term, because I was his constituent in the 3rd district. He didn't do not a dang on thing for my district. He didn't have my vote. He didn't have my vote. And when it came down to it, between him and the other person I had to vote for, I was like, well, shoot, even though he didn't do nothing, I'm going to go ahead and vote for him, because the other person was the reason why I got arrested and got felony charges in the first place. See, this is what I'm talking about. But we had someone who knew the law and was for the people, and she couldn't even get to the final ticket because everyone is so brainwashed. This is the problem with our people. This is the problem with the community in general. This is the problem with a lot of people on social media. Y'all minds do not know how to, you do not know how to control your own mind, and this is not a put down. This is a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call. Step away. Read everything. No, go to your election board website. You have 7 days to go to your local election board website and see who's going to be on the ballot. The people who are running as write-ins, y'all need to get videos out once an hour for 24 hours a day. Start paying for Facebook ads. Start doing what you have to do to get people to know who you are. Congress, I think they said over 80% of Congress is up for re-election. And this year you have more black women than any other year before running for Congress. Here's my problem with that. The Senate is still white. And the Senate makes the decisions. Because the bills pass the House. But they got to go through Senate to be approved and sit on the president's desk. Do y'all see where some kind of way there is a disconnect with us? And we like to talk, but when it comes to our own lives, we sit back as if no one gave us a choice. This president in this situation was a choice. There was I think Jill Stein and Baraka, they were the choice. Before, even if we didn't want to go libertarian, Bernie Sanders was the choice between Orange Man and what I like to call her Massa, who jailed all our black guys back in 1994 for the sake of filling up prisons for her friends. At some point in time, we got to wake up, y'all. At some point in time, we have to know who we are electing. We have to, you got people running for office. If I fell out laughing one time because there was a man running for office for a school board. He didn't even take care of his kids. He was a deadbeat. But you running for school board and you're a deadbeat. You want to make decisions about kids, but you don't even make decisions about your own kids in their everyday life. This is what I'm talking about. And the information was out there. Good thing he didn't get elected. But the information was out there. And we just simply don't look for it. We simply don't look for it. Like everybody's upset about this video that I sent out. I'm going to jump back on this video real quick because I want people to look down my timeline. Because I think I'm the only person that posted it because I actually read it in my, I have a world news. It's about money that comes to my email. It's about money and finances, that Israel got the antivirus for coronavirus. They've proven that they can neutralize it. stage, late stage coronavirus. But everybody's arguing about this black woman on this video. And Israel is about to lock the world down. They about to become a power move. I think they the ones that had it all along. How do you find an antibody that quick? But watch our governments. They're going to have to bow to Israel. Y'all need to wake up. I tell people, you will see me talk a whole lot of stuff on social media. You will listen to me if you know me. Some of the stuff I say, I do. I'm not going to admit to everything because some of it's criminal. But but I'm deep in knowing who's controlling me. I'm deep in knowing who has the say-so over me. I know when certain people are standing up there and they're saying certain things and they're talking in circles, and it seems like they said Harriet Tubman pulled the slaves from the South in order to sell them to the North. I know what he was trying to say, but he could not come out and say what he wanted to say because he took an offer he couldn't refuse. And the first time he refused it, it cost him his mama. Y'all get what I'm saying here? So you have to make sure that you know who's pulling the strings. And we have so many, a lot of people don't know, I think it was Wisconsin. I have to look it up. They had a congressman who quit. He retired in the middle of his appointment. Why did this man retire? He said, because when you go to Washington, D.C., and you go as a person who has a normal mind like we do. I got to look up the state. Don't get me to saying Wisconsin. Do not quote me on that. I'm going to look it up. But he says when you go as a person who has a normal mind like we have, you get in there and you realize that nobody in Congress thinks like the citizens who elected them. And instead of him being there and winding up having to sell out on Capitol Hill like the rest of them did, in order to keep his job, he would rather retire. He retired in the middle of his appointment. In the middle. He just walked away. He's like, look, I ain't going to keep doing this. So that tells you that everybody who sticks it out got a money interest. Just follow the money. We got 80% of Congress up for re-election. Go in and look at someone who is big on research. I don't do tables and stuff, or else I would do it. But go in and put in a table of every member of Congress and of the Senate. And some of them been in there too long. They need to get out. 30 and 40 years and 50. No, we don't even keep presidents, but for 4 years, they get 8 and they go. That's it. Maybe 4. I don't know. I think 4 is too much of a turnover. But 8 will be just right. That's 2 presidencies. But you look at some of these people, how much money they made when they went in. And then you see the money that they have in the bank now. Where'd that money come from? You are an elected official. You make a certain amount of money. Where all that money come from? How you so rich? That's what I'm talking about, y'all. We need to start following the money. We need to start following the trails. And like I said, people can judge other people and call other people crazy. But if you do not know the back end, I will keep saying it. Alicia Kennedy should have been mayor. I could call Alicia Kennedy, Councilwoman Alicia Kennedy, and Missouri State Rep Brandon Ellington with issues from people who were not even in their district. And they would help me solve those people's issues. I called then Councilman Lucas's office and was given a number to call, and nobody ever responded. And that was my councilman. So to see, and he was keynote speaker at my son's graduation. And it's a shame he asked the kids, how many of you all, when you graduate college, are coming back to Kansas City? And just one little girl did this and looked around. Everybody else is sitting there looking at that man like he had lost his mind for asking that question. That is a fault of the people who sit in the city council for our city, that our city has failed our students and our children that bad. The one thing I will say, when our violence started kicking up in Kansas City when I was in high school. How many of y'all remember Mayor Cleaver, now Congressman Cleaver? I knew him as Pastor Cleaver, so I have to keep remember to call him Congressman Cleaver. But Mayor Cleaver, what did Mayor Cleaver bring into the city? He brought in joy, which was jobs. He brought in summer jobs for youth. He brought in hot summer nights. We had so much stuff to do as young people that when he left, that's when the violence kicked up, because there was nothing left to do. And then you have people sitting on the city council who's saying, how do we stop these murders? We're at a high number of murders. You don't know because you don't care to know. You don't care. The only one who actually be in the district because he lives in it is 3rd District at Large Councilman Brandon Ellington. I'm telling everybody around the world, BrandonEllington, like Duke Ellington. He has a show on here every first and third Sunday, or it's every third Sunday? Every first and third Sunday, called What's Real, Real Talk. He's the real deal. He's the real deal. You will see, I can drive down the street in my old rough neighborhood and might see Councilman Ellington standing down there talking to some of the drug addicts, or, you know, just some of the people who sell drugs or whatever. Just trying to talk to them, find out where they at. He been doing that since he was state rep. He been doing that since before then. But I saw someone from the city council post, how do we help these children? How do we help them? Well, when you see them as others' children, then you can't help them. But I guarantee you this one thing, when you got a little bit of money or your kids grow up middle class, you better keep them grounded, because they wind up with those very same children that you're telling people you need to help. I know for a fact, just seen a little girl driving her Range Rover, her white Range Rover, cute as a button. Got this dude on the side. They at the gas station. What you doing at the gas station down here in this Range Rover with these Johnson County tags? But that's what happens when we don't elect people who have our best interests at heart. They run our cities down for the sake of getting the land at a land grab. Y'all wake up. I'm in real estate. How you going? I'm over there. I tell people I'm close enough to Arrowhead Stadium that when they had the I think it was like something like the Pro Bowl or something pro for either the Royals or the Chiefs, I could hear everything that they did for practice. When the Chiefs first had their first playoff, and I think they had Jordan Sparks singing, they kept making the girl re-sing the song to the point that her voice cracked because it was so cold outside. I was like, they need to take her off of there. I could hear her practicing the song from the stadium. But the land ain't worth nothing. So how you gonna get it? Because we ain't willing to sell. And they keep sending little cards to the houses. We want to buy your house. We want to buy your house. We want to buy your house. They're trying to create a land grab. How do you create a land grab? You let certain zip codes go downhill. Every city who's listening to me right now, this is why you research your elected officials. They're letting your zip codes go downhill so they can get the stuff dirt cheap. What does it say in stocks? Buy low, sell high. Everybody research and look up when they talk about mortgage notes. Those are real research money folk. I mean, the real real estate money folk. It ain't the people who own the land. Buy low, sell high. I need y'all to wake up. I need y'all to wake up. The election is coming. The preliminary election, or whatever they call it, it's coming up next Tuesday, August 4th. Everybody should know who's running locally. Shouldn't nobody, y'all, I'm going to be so mad if Mike Sharp, after his whole 50 Shades of Grey episode that was going on, I'm going to be so angry if he gets reelected. This is the Lyne't Gray Show. Have a good one. Am I off the mic? Because I'm still live.